Hey everybody, it's Matt again. Today we're going to talk about Iron Factory EX-70 Drill of Amduscias, or their Drillhorn, the first member of their version of the Breast Force. Um, Hee hee ha ha, Breast Force. Very funny. Um, but this is obviously Drillhorn. This is the first one of their line that came out. I know that it came out like earlier on in 2024, but I am only just now getting around to reviewing it. So front of the box, obviously he's not in here, but he's packaged in robot mode. He's gonna just kind of sit there on that window, and then coming around to the side, your classic Iron Factory deco stuff. They always kind of do the same thing, but if it ain't broken, don't fix it. There we go. Iron Factory year 2024. But yeah, pretty good box. Um, he's gonna come with obviously their normal set of instructions with their just rendered stuff and their parts list and all that. Shows how to get him to combine mode and everything and use all of his accessories. So instructions. Um, he's got a whole bunch of accessories that he's gonna come with. So he comes with this. I think it's for like his chain mace or staff or whatever position that you put it in, but it's articulated at multiple different spots. It's for, I guess, customizing weapons and stuff. Iron Factory always includes a ton of stuff, so that's just for the combined mode. Um, he's also going to come with this, and this is kind of the point of contempt a little bit for some of the other people that are buying these. He comes with like the entire combiner leg, where basically he just slots into the side when he's in his alt mode, and then it's like the entire combiner leg for Lyle Kaiser. Um, a lot of people have issues with it. I personally don't. I don't mind having combiner parts like this. I mean, even though this is a little crazy to have like basically the entire leg. That's a little nuts in my opinion. But I don't really have that issue, much of an issue with it, just because it's sometimes making all integrated combining transformers, you have to sacrifice something in order to make it work. And a lot of times they just crumple if there's just too much going on. So I actually don't mind these. I think that it'll actually end up looking really good and be a super solid combiner with this. So personally, it doesn't bother me. I'm not gonna put him into his combined mode or go over the articulation of this piece yet. I'm gonna wait until I have all this stuff to do a proper combined video. So, but here I'll just let you get a good look at it. But we'll talk more about this in the future. Um, so now some of his robot mode stuff. He comes with an absolute ludicrous amount of hand options. Um, as Iron Factory figures always do. We have some splayed open hands, kind of expressive stuff. It comes with that for either side. We have some like salute or like karate chop hands, I think. So I have one of those for either side. We have two holding hands, which is you work with any of his weapons. And then he has the fan favorite middle finger. He has the middle finger hand for his right hand. But he also has two closed fist hands, but those are actually on him. Those are what he comes packaged with. He's going to come with this. It's a post for his spears. So you have two spear parts that you can put onto either side and then make that double edged spear that he probably used at one point in the show. I haven't watched the show in it's so long. I have watched it. I don't remember where this was from. But he does have that. He also comes with these parts, which are meant to go over the hand posts because you get two drill pieces that will, so basically this will go over the hand where the hand connector goes, and then you plug this in on top of it to have kind of like drill hands. So you have one of those for either side. And then we're going to have three different versions, or three different parts for his breastmaster. We're going to have just kind of a regular old plate that will go over his chest. I put the symbol there. That's not going to be on there. But yeah, just a thin piece of plastic. Then we have the gun mode for his breastmaster. Pretty cool. And then we have the actual breastmaster. So here he is. And I'll just quickly go over this guy. This is kind of like the breast mode, or actually I'll wait to do that. So this is his actual breastmaster. This one actually transforms and goes into all the modes. I'll go over this more in like his actual transformation, just because it's going to actually attach to him in multiple different ways. But there it is. And of course, moving all this aside, here he is. So here is Drillhorn in his drill mode. And I think it looks all right. I really like the painted treads. They look really good on it. I like that gunmetal that they chose. But yeah, little futuristic drill tank. But I like it. It doesn't have any wheels or anything, so it can't roll, but I mean, whatever. The drill here does rotate if you want to do that. But yeah, as far as the breastmaster parts, the flat plate is the only one that you can actually put on him in his alt mode. So that's really the only one that you can use. But any of the other stuff it can't really fit. Like this just doesn't really have the clearance when you put it on there. But yeah, but there he is. All right, so let's transform him. So to get started on him, what we're going to need to do is just kind of come here and just kind of pull him in half a little bit. So he kind of comes apart on these little tabs here. Just kind of bend it forwards, and then we're going to take his feet, just kind of move them out of the way for now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of come over here and just kind of start to, oh, I apologize. We need to actually right here, these little parts here for the treads will rotate out like this. Rotate out like this, these little pieces. And then we're just going to kind of lift them off of this part and kind of get them out of the way a little bit, just to give us clearance to get these little panels out. So you need to open these panels like this so that we can get clearance for the knee parts here to start to flip out. So now you're going to just flip everything out like this until it's up like so. And then we can just go ahead and close these panels back up like that. And then these parts, they're going to need to collapse into the feet, and this can be a little tricky. But we're gonna kind of bend them at this hinge, this little double hinge here, to close them together, and then just kind of push them in and down like this until they start to just kind of shift in like that. And then there is a little post here that pegs into that section there, and then that little tread piece is going to be his heel. And we can actually separate the legs. I don't know why I was doing it together. But same thing. So just rotate this in and then just down like this and just kind of finagle it down until it can go into that little post. And then we'll just clean up the feet down here, get them down how they need to be. And then the little knee pad here will just rotate up. Just like that. So this canopy section here will actually Come on. Lift off. You lift it from here, and it will lift up like this. And then we can get this whole section out of the way right here. So that can just come out of the way. And then these parts here, these little tread parts, will unpeg from the torso section here, from the side, like that, on that little peg. And probably be careful with this little peg. That kind of worries me that it'll break off on there. So just be gentle with it. But remove it, and it will, on all these hinges, all these separate hinges, come out like this on this armature. Get it from that side, because it is kind of tight getting in there. Pull it out to the side like this, and then lift these up to give you clearance here, because this panel is now going to flip in and collapse on the inside here. So collapse on the inside there. And then we're just going to take this at this double hinge here and just collapse it down onto that panel, like that. All right, and then for the arms here, you're going to kind of take them up and bring them down a little bit on this little double joint. I don't know if you actually saw that, down on that double joint. And then we're just going to kind of flip the hands out. And I have trouble getting these out sometimes without popping the hands off. I might actually end up popping the hands off. But there we go. They can be kind of tight getting out, because the hands are on ball joints and this pin is very tight. So, come on. There we go. All right. Now, this panel here, I've already done it, but this panel will pull out here. That's why we got everything out of the way. And this head is annoying. This head's ball joint is like really loose, so his head's probably going to go flying off, and hopefully I don't lose it. Getting clearance to get his horn out is kind of a bear, but this whole chest piece can move forwards, and see, it just popped off the ball joint. So I'm just gonna do it. So this is supposed to clear here, but the ball joint, or the horn on his head, always gets stuck here, so it always just ends up popping it off of that post, and the ball joint is just not very tight on this, so it just always comes off. But go ahead and flip that up. Pretend that his head stayed attached. It'll just flip out like this. You can put it back in position and then close up the back panel. This part will slide down until it rests in the lower position, and then you just position the drill down on his back. And then you can kind of just collapse everything. And there he is. There's Drillhorn. And all kind of cleaned up. So there he is. Pretty nice. I really, really like the way this looks. I love the proportions on them. Iron Factory always absolutely nails the look of their figures. They don't always nail the feel of their figures, but they always make them look incredible. So, like, look at that face sculpt. That looks great. Fantastic. I got some nice paint here on the chest, paint around the legs. Looks good all together. I like the way that it all cleans up. He does have a little bit of kibble on the back, but that's just kind of, I mean, at least I think it cleans up decent. But, yeah, looks pretty good. So as far as his accessories, I already talked about his fists, but obviously you can put any of his hands. Like, here's his salute hands. You can put those just on these ball joints. However, so you can swap in and out the hands at your leisure. But as far as his, I should also show these parts that I was talking about. So with these parts, to make his drill hands, you just have to pop the hands off. You put these, you have to push the actual hand panel in, and then this part will pop over that ball joint like that, and then you just put the drill over it, and then now he has his drill hands. Kind of cool. It's a thing that you can do. Probably not a thing that I will do, but it is a thing that you can do. So his breastmaster, his buddy. So I'll show all of this. So first off, his breastmaster in his chest mode, it will just attach with that peg onto here, and yeah, it looks kind of dumb, to be honest. But luckily, they give us this. They give us just kind of a fake chest to kind of make it look how it did in the show. So that will just slide right over, and that looks way better. It looks way better. So options are always great. But of course, this does also turn into his gun mode. So all you have to do is flip up this little barrel here, and then this little post. Yeah, that's actually just a handle. But then this handle can plug into his hand and be held. But it looks kind of ridiculous, to be honest. It looks kind of ridiculous. But hey, at least you have the option. But again, luckily, they gave us a real version of it, or a better looking version of it for the actual gun mode, and that he can hold in his hands just fine, as I say, as I'm struggling to get it into his hands. There we go. And he can hold that just fine. But what we all probably want to do, what I certainly want to do, is turn this into the animal mode. So simply pull that down, pull out the little rhino head, collapse that back in, and then just align the legs however they need to be aligned. And there he is. There's his little rhino breaster, whatever. I dropped it. Ugh. Rhino breast, I think is what they called it. I don't remember what specifically this thing was called, but there is his little breastmaster buddy. Yep. But let's talk about articulation now, and I'm going to remove that chest piece just to give them everything. So for the head, we have a joint in the neck, which allows it to rock forward and back quite a bit. Like I mentioned with the head, it is a little bit weak on that ball joint, but it is still a full range of movement, and he gets a lot of movement out of that neck. Very expressive head. For the shoulders, or actually, I'll go back here for the wings. The little wings here can go on these panels in and out here, so you can position those however you want to. The shoulders have a joint about right here in the torso, which allows you to lift them up a little bit, which is good because he doesn't have much articulation actually on this ball joint in his shoulder. So with that, you can get about 90 degrees. You can get, you would be able to get 360 degrees if all that kibble wasn't in the way, but it's your usual ball joint articulation. We have a mushroom peg here up in the upper arm, so 360 degrees there. We have a double jointed elbow, which allows for a full, if you do it in the right orientation, you get almost 180 degrees on the elbow. And then we have a ball joint here at the wrist. For the waist, we have a ab crunch, a crazy ab crunch. So that's cool. Waist can go 360 degrees. The side or the front skirts here are attached, or they're not separate, they're attached to each other. So those can go forwards to get out of the way for the legs, which are on ball joints, which will get you really far forwards. And you can get them really far back too, and really far out. 360 degree rotation here at the thigh. And then we do have a double jointed knee to get you pretty good movement there. I actually think it's technically a triple joint because there's another joint here in the actual leg, but it's like it's wild working with it. The toe here is on a ball joint and a hinge up here, so you can lift that up quite a bit, and then the ball joint for the toe can get you all over the place, which also kind of gives you an ankle tilt, kind of. But yeah, obviously Iron Factory is known for their crazy articulation. So it's pretty good. The only really restricted part about this guy is the shoulders. The shoulders don't have the greatest range ever, but they're decent enough to get me all the poses that I would want with him. Now if I can just get him to stand. There. Okay, let's do some size comparisons. So, here he is next to a few other Iron Factory offerings. Here he is next to their Soundwave. Here with a Seeker mold. There's Starscream. And here he is next to their Megatron. I'll move him a little bit closer. So fits in real well with them, with the aesthetic. And just in case you're wondering, here he is next to a couple of Sunbow stuff. Here he is with Magic Square Sideswipe and Magic Square's Optimus. Alright, so final thoughts on Iron Factory EX-70 Drill of Amduscias, or Drillhorn. I really like him. I'm pretty excited for the other figures. The thing that people are kind of upset about with the combiner parts, it doesn't really bother me that much. I think that it's kind of you sacrifice like that amount of engineering. You have to sacrifice something. If you end up putting that much engineering process into something, especially this small, I mean, you could end up like a floppy mess, as many other combiners have been. And I would much prefer to have a like coherent, good-looking, posable figure at the end of the day than have something that you can transform and and get it to look exact, get it to look as close as you can with all of these different joints and stuff going on. It can be done right, but it's very difficult, and it's not done right a lot of times. So this is just a good way to ensure that it looks good in all modes, and I really do think it good. I do think that it does. The alt mode looks great. The bot mode looks fantastic. He's got quite a bit of kibble on his back, but it doesn't bother me that much because it cleans up decent at least. He has an absolute insane amount of accessories, as Iron Factory always does. And from the pictures that I've seen, obviously I haven't done it myself yet, but the combined mode is going to look great too. So I'm very excited for that. But yeah, so solid recommend for me. They're not too expensive either. They're actually pretty cheap. I think this guy was like $28, which is freaking nuts for what you get. Which Iron Factory, if you can get it when they come out, they're fantastic. But getting these secondhand is awful. So if you can get this, I highly suggest that you do before it becomes unobtainable. So with that said, if you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate it as always. Please drop a comment, like, subscribe. If you want to follow me on any of my socials, there is a link in the description to my link tree, so you can find where you can find all of that. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.